January 1st, Friday, 1875. Over the past few months, it seems that Charlotte has been unrelentless in trying to befriend me, and I find myself not disheartened enough to rebuke the girl. I have been giving her my time, and she has not made me feel the need to regret that decision. I even ended up taking her out today for New Year's. We were strolling around England, just the two of us, as Heidi didn't want to come out and Lottie had something she wanted to do with Jean-Paul. Just as I was about to wrap things up for the day, Charlotte came to a complete halt on the walk, still holding my hand. I looked down at the child, her eyes fixated on something in front of her. I began. Why did you stop? Her face was one of awe, and so I looked at what could possibly be in front that made her look as though someone was dangling candy in front of her. And by my stars, I couldn't have been any prouder to say that she felt entranced by a musical store. It runs in her blood, after all. I knelt down to the dumbstruck girl and asked, "Would you like to take a look inside?" Charlotte immediately perked up in an elated tone.
Can we?
I felt her grip my hand even tighter as she nearly rushed to the door with a jolt, but soon caught herself with composure and waited for me to take the lead. I was sure that Charlotte was going to be picking her first instrument, and she would start the new year bringing one home and immediately practicing. Whatever instrument she picked was surely to tell a lot about her, I thought. So I was very surprised to see what it was when she ran up to her new future companion. The 5-year-old little girl had went straight for a double bass, looking up at me with pleading eyes and her arms outstretched as if to show off, like I wasn't able to see it until she pointed it out. She began with a very sweet and innocent,
Please.
Now normally I would have found the sight of this quite laughable, but I was able to let my child make a huge commitment and didn't want her to squander it. I simply responded with a matter-of-fact tone. It's bigger than you. And how about a violin? Maybe a cello?
Please, Vater, this one?
Are you sure you want the bass? It's more than twice your size. It'd be hard to play. You still sure? She repeated in a more sure and exaggerated pitch. I noticed its family was nearby, so I pointed at the violin. A much more reasonable and seemingly suitable choice. Not something smaller, like a violin?
Nuh-uh.
She sounded so sure. I gestured to the next instrument. Viola?
Nuh-uh.
What an adamant expression she had. Though I thought it was still too big, I figured maybe it was size she was after. So I pushed to the next. Cello? Charlotte shook her head as she patted the instrument between her palms, as she continues in a firmly hopeful tone.
Bass is next.
Yes, but what's its proper name? She didn't hesitate for a moment.
Double bass.
I let out a sigh. I could see her heart was set on it. Bass it is? She gasped, clasped her hand together, and her eyes widened further.
Really?
Yes, but we are making a deal. Understand, Charlotte? You must practice, at the very least, once a week. And to make sure you have been improving, you will have to let me hear you perform once a month.
I understand, Vater. Thank you so much. I will practice at least once a day. I hope to be good enough for you to listen to me.
A purchase was made for the bass, bow, rosin, and some sheet music, and I helped Charlotte carry it all onto the carriage to home. She immediately was quick to proudly show off her new instrument to her family. Lottie had a look of confusion and concern, and even asked if she was going to play it at her height. I assumed that as long as she had a chair or stool to stand upon, she would at least be able to practice a little. Charlotte managed to pick up her bass, raising it over her head and ready to carry it up to her room. Jean-Paul shot her a disapproving glance as he commented,
"You're going to break your instrument like that."
Her little sister, however, seemed to feel invincible and quite confident, so she responded with,
No, I'm not.
I came over and ended up taking it from the girl, carrying it to her room in her stead. She's been practicing ever since, and I can still hear that she is. What a peculiar human indeed.